Hey you all, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the St. Croix Mojo Muskie Rod. I've had my St. Croix Mojo Muskie Rod for about 2.5 years and caught many fish on it. And I've done a little bit of research over the years on this rod and several other rods just because I'm a muskie fisherman. I like to know what I'm purchasing, what I'm going to be fishing with. I've got a few things here pulled up on the screen to help me organize my thoughts, but hopefully at the end of this you'll have a better idea if you're thinking about purchasing a Mojo Muskie rod. I think I'm saying that right, Mojo? I don't know. But hopefully you'll have a little bit better idea on whether or not you want one and if it's going to do what you need it to do. So jumping right in, the blank of the rod is made from the St. Croix SC2 graphite. Wonderful blank. I love it. It's in several of the rods I own. Very lightweight, very sensitive. Actually, in this rod and in the other rod I own, the St. Croix, I was able to detect several deep water muskie bites, and that's crucial. You know, muskie are already hard enough to catch as it is. You know, if you're not feeling the bites in enough time to set the hooks and drive the hooks home, you're gonna miss the fish. So it's very awesome, very, like I said, lightweight, sensitive blank. Kudos to St. Croix for just, you know, an off-the-shelf amazing blank. The rod tip, very sturdy, very durable. I've launched baits that were probably heavier than I should have been throwing on a medium heavy. Big 8-inch gliders, thick, you know, like Cobb H&H gliders, you know, wooden Phantom softtails, launching them long distances. It held up fine. I wouldn't advise doing it all the time, and I don't do it anymore. Just because I own heavier rods now that I have a little bit more money. But the blank and the tip, no problems. Great rod, great durable rod. The weight of this rod, just for your knowledge, is 9.3 ounces. A lot of your weight in muskie fishing is going to come from your lures and your reels, which you probably know. 9.3 ounces in this rod is very manageable to me. It's probably the least of my worries of what I'm going to be feeling all day. So just a little tidbit to put in your head there. Now, when I paid for this rod almost 3 years ago, I think it's stayed about that same price ever since, which is $150 to $180. When you think Mojo Muskie rod, that's how much you're going to be paying, $150 to $180, depending on where you go. As opposed to the Premiers, which I think are $180 to $220. So yeah, it all depends on where you get it from. Sometimes you'll catch a bait shop on sale. Sometimes you'll catch them, you know, on whatever online sale. We just had Black Friday. So, but $150, $180. The split grip, and what I mean by split grip is this right here. You know, I thought I'd have an issue with it at first. You know, a lot of people are like, you're not going to like that hard rod pressed against your side all day. But one, when you're muskie fishing, usually it's wintertime. Well, I wade fish all through the summer, but this is going to be pressed up against a lot of clothing if you're fishing in the wintertime. Two, this, honestly, I kind of like because it slides over your clothes a lot. It doesn't, you know, it's not as much friction as the cork. I don't mind it. I kind of like the way it looks. Might be an issue for you, might not be. Just something to think about because I've not seen any of these rods with the full cork handle. The biggest rod I've seen in the Mojo lineup is the 8.5 foot. The smallest one is the 7.2. If I could go back and do it again, I'd probably get the 8.6 just because it's easier to, well, one, I can launch baits a little bit farther. It is easier to figure eight out of a boat and figure eight off the bank. Now, 8 foot for me though is a good all-around length I found because you can figure eight out of a kayak pretty easily with it as well. But you know, 8 foot, 8.6, that's where I tend to stick. I don't know why you would want a 7.2 muskie rod. Maybe for trolling. I don't know. I don't do a lot of that. But 8.6 to 7.2 is the rod lengths I've found this rod in. Now the actions of this rod vary from medium heavy fast all the way up to extra heavy fast, which is perfect for me. I generally throw small to medium sized baits. But if you're throwing mag dogs, pounders, stuff like that, you might want to look elsewhere because I don't know if St. Croix makes anything other than an extra heavy. I think that's the biggest, not other than, but bigger than an extra heavy. So if you're looking for a mega heavy or something like that, you may need to go to like Tackle Industries or something like that. Now moving on to the guides. These are aluminum oxide guides. They are, to my understanding, aluminum oxide is kind of like the upper class economy guides. They are very good for their price. They dissipate heat and friction. They reduce friction pretty good. They are not as good as silicone carbide, which I know the Premier has the silicone carbide tip. But to me, with the Mojo's the Mojo's aluminum oxide tip and with the zirconium insert and the aluminum oxide guides, I think for musky fishing they do a fine job. The zirconium insert, to my understanding, is there to kind of make it slicker to help dissipate heat a little bit better than aluminum oxide and reduce friction. It's not as good as silicone carbide in my understanding, but when I think about musky fishing, I think about casting all day. I don't think about, marlin in the ocean making 400 and 500 yard runs and line ripping through a rod tip, putting a tremendous amount of heat on it, and putting flat spots or melted spots in your line, or possibly grooving your rod tip. Not saying it can't happen with your typical line retrieve, throwing huge baits, musky fishing all day, but I think, if you think about it, when you're musky fishing, you're throwing out, your first cast is usually dry, but then after that your line's moist and you're constantly reeling in. Unless you're trolling, you're constantly reeling in, and that friction and that heat is dissipated a little bit with the water that's going to be on your line and on your rod guide. So I don't think in musky fishing it's going to make that big of a difference. The only problem I've had with my rod over 2.5 years is that the epoxy on one of just a little portion of my guide where it meets my rod is starting to come off, but the rod guide's still on there securely. And I mean, 2.5 years of wading and swimming and hiking and doing everything to this rod, and a little bit of epoxy comes off. That's a pretty durable guide. So kudos to St. Croix for making a quality guide. Now moving on to the warranty. St. Croix does like 3 different warranty plans. They have the Silver Star service plan, which basically means it is, and these are all 5-year warranties, so sorry, I skipped that. But you have your Silver Star service plan, so for $20 shipping and handling, if there's a manufacturer error or something with the rod, basically they'll repair it or replace it for free. The Gold Star service plan is $55 to $120, and that's if you damage your rod, have an accident or something with it. You basically, you can log on their site, call these people, or email them. They'll tell you what to do. But basically, you give St. Croix some money, and they repair or replace your rod. The Gold Star, the next plan is the Gold Star Plus upgrade for $75 and above. And if your rod's damaged beyond repair and you just want to get rid of it and get a better rod with another warranty, this is the one for you. Now all of these are going to take some time, so don't expect an immediate turnaround on it. Have a backup rod, but I think you get what you pay for, and with St. Croix obviously being a higher end rod company, it's worth it. If a high quality rod tears up, I don't expect to get one for free. I expect they're going to repair it, or they're going to replace it, but they're going to ask a little bit of money, or I don't see how they would make any money if they did it any other way. But St. Croix, 5-year warranty, kind of hard to beat that. Have an extra rod for, just in case, because you will have to send it in along with some cash. So something to think about. So all in all, guys and gals, for as long as I've owned this rod, and for as many St. Croix products as I own, I'm kind of partial to St. Croix, and I'm not going to push you away from buying a St. Croix just because they're just, to me, you're going to spend a little bit more money, but you're getting a lot more rod. Should you buy the Premier? Should you buy the Mojo? I haven't owned my Premier musky rod that long yet to tell you yes or no, but if the main difference in the rod is the tip and the reel seat and the cork handle, when you're muskie fishing, that's not a huge difference. And if you're pressed for cash, you know, an extra $30 to $50 can go towards a muskie reel or a bait or something, or food on the table. So if you buy a Mojo muskie rod, you're not going to be disappointed thinking, oh, I bought a step down from the Premier. It's not a Legend. It's going to do everything you need it to do for a good long time, and if anything goes wrong with it, you'll be able to fix it or repair it for a fee, but you'll get back another great quality product from St. Croix. So I hope this review helped you out. You know, I've got a St. Croix heavy Premier I'm going to be fishing a lot with. I've already caught several fish on it. I'm going to probably next year sometime do a review on it once I get some more fish and time under its belt. But, you know, feel free to leave your opinions, your experiences in the comments section. Let me know if this review was helpful for you or not. I've got a review on the Tranks 400 and the Calcutta 400 coming up, so stay tuned for those, as well as when I fish a little bit more with my Tranks 300 I just bought. I plan on doing a review with it as well. Again, I hope you found this review helpful. If you haven't done so already, make sure to click subscribe and the notification bell down below. That helps out tremendously. It lets me know that you guys and gals like what I'm doing and that you follow along. And I wish many big muskie and tight lines to you all. Thanks for watching.